Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, a re-review from my previous channel. It's from the Fright Night, I don't know what the hell, box set you call this thing. This one's called The Devil's Nightmare. Let's check it out. Okay, our film starts near the end of World War II, I guess. And we have a woman in bed who's about to give birth, apparently. And this is her husband. She gave birth but died.
Answer my question, will you? Is it a boy?
No, it's a little girl.
So he does what all dads do. He stabs his baby daughter immediately. Fast forward 35 years later, 30 years later.
Would you allow me to take some pictures of your beautiful castle?
It's off the question.
That's the guy who stabbed his daughter.
Please, I can't allow it.
He's being interviewed. He lives in a castle now. She's taking pictures anyway. But something happens to her on the grounds of this estate, or this castle, I should say. We don't see exactly what, though. So the body is brought in.
You think she was murdered?
No, a heart attack, I think. Looks like she saw something that terrified her. Yes, people do die from fear. Fear?
And that, Doctor, what's that? It's the mark of the devil.
The succubus has come back to the castle.
So we have this bus tour, this tourist group. They got lost or something, and they end up at that same castle. Just looking for a place to stay.
Well, Mr. Ducat, where are you taking us now?
They get welcomed home, or in.
Don't be frightened, please. The castle is full of traps.
We were told that you might be able to give us shelter for the night.
By all means.
Well, they all get their own room except for these two chicks who decide to hang out together. The Baron, the guy who stabbed his daughter, is in the basement. He's like trying to make gold. He's an alchemist. These two can't keep their hands off each other. Can't show you a lot of their scenes.
You mean your ancestors sold the soul of the devil?
In exchange for his services, besides secret soul, Satan demanded that the eldest daughter of each generation of our family be in his service. That she become a succubus.
So that's why he killed his daughter, so it wouldn't become a succubus. And then another visitor shows up at the castle. This woman named Lisa.
You again?
That's Erika Blanc.
What are you doing here?
That's the housekeeper, by the way.
Well, what's the matter with you? And how's that coffee coming along?
We have heard that tune every time the succubus appears.
For heaven's sake, can't you talk about something else besides succubuses?
This chick's just doing her thing, and something's tripping on her.
Did you hear that, Tracy?
That would be
Coming through the ceiling.
blood from the ceiling.
There's no reason to panic. There must be some explanation.
So this is the explanation. Somebody killed a cat.
Look at that.
Although if you look closely, the cat's breathing. So this mysterious chick, Lisa, suddenly makes an appearance with the priest. I think she's trying to tempt him.
Disturbing you? I can't seem to get to sleep.
It must be the storm.
What are you reading?
A book about the von Runeberg curse.
Succubuses manifest themselves principally at night. They use all their lascivious charms to seduce hermits. Do you think I'm lascivious? Shameless? What if I got completely undressed in front of you? Do you think that I could be a succubus?
Well, here's where the Seven Deadly Sins portion of the movie comes. Our Lisa there, who's clearly a succubus,
Won't you sit down?
is going to lure all of the tourists and have each one of them represent a sin. This one is gluttony. And of course, he starts choking and dies. And we see the true face of our succubus. This woman Nancy's interested in the gold in the basement.
You're frightened. You're looking for the treasure.
She finds a pile of gold dust. I can smell the sin of greed. And then she sinks and drowns in it. These two are having an adulterous affair.
Let's go somewhere else.
So they're going to find a new place to bone. They find some sort of torture chamber downstairs. I guess they're supposed to be representing envy. She's hiding in front of the Iron Maiden, while our succubus puts him in a guillotine. And then she falls back into that Iron Maiden, and that's the end of her. Apparently the two lovers represented envy and lust, while this guy represents wrath. He's going to get tossed out a window. I don't even know what sloth is, but this chick apparently is representing that one, and the snake is going to kill her while she sleeps. Meanwhile,
Have a cigarette.
Lisa is trying to seduce the priest.
No use running away, Alvin. You will die like the others.
The others?
Yes, I killed them all. I killed them in a state of mortal sin.
Well, the priest leaves the castle and discovers Satan walking in the door.
Why do you run away?
He has all their souls, but the priest wants to make a deal with him.
A bargain.
Liberate the poor souls whom you put to death, and I accept damnation.
What arrogance.
He agrees. So he signs the agreement, and the next day, everyone is alive again, as if nothing ever happened.
The champion. And his adjutant looks like a real butcher.
We get a reveal from the housekeeper.
You're quite mistaken, Martha. Lisa's not to blame.
But you don't know the truth. Lisa is a succubus.
There's no such thing as a succubus. Anyway, Lisa's not a von Rudenberg.
Lisa is my daughter, monsieur. Her father was Rudolf von Rudenberg. Only he passed away without ever knowing that I was pregnant.
So while the priest stays behind with Lisa, the bus leaves and runs into Satan, which causes the bus to go off the cliff. Everybody dies. Our succubus smiles at Satan. Satan's got everybody now. All right, let's talk about this movie, Devil's Nightmare. Now, I picked this this box set thing up. There's a bunch of these that were put out by Brentwood. There may be 20 of these. I don't know. I got about half of them, maybe. You could find these in Best Buy and stuff back in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were all over the place. I picked this up. I'm not sure why. I think I needed the movie Pieces, and actually the movie The Ghost also. And God told me to. Of course, they've all been released in better versions now anyway, but that's why I picked this up. And Devil's Nightmare I had seen once before. I watched it on my previous channel back in 2012, and I reviewed it then. However, watching it now, I had literally zero recognition of this movie. I know I watched it before, and it's not that bad of a film, so you think I would have remembered it in some capacity, but no, not a thing. Literally zero, nothing remembered. So anyway, we have a movie here that takes place in, it was filmed in Belgium, actually, in a castle. It's known for being the first horror movie ever filmed in Belgium, so it's I guess a Belgian horror film. So we have these people, these tourists. Well, it starts off actually in World War II, at the end of the World War II. I think he was a German officer. His wife gave birth to a daughter, and the first thing the guy does, the wife died in childbirth, first thing the guy does with his newborn is stab it to death. Kills it. We're like, what the hell is that all about? Fast forward to 1971 or whenever the hell this movie came out. Ultimately, we learned that this family, this German guy here, like some ancestor sold his soul to the devil or something like that. And the curse was that any first newborn daughter becomes a succubus. Now, what exactly is a succubus? I don't know. It's some sort of like vampire thingy. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're bad. So clearly he thought his daughter was going to be a succubus, so he stabbed it to death. Fast forward, like I said, to 1971 or 2 or something like that, and this tourist bus is lost. They end up stopping at the castle where the Baron, the guy who killed his daughter, lives, and he welcomes them in. Next thing you know, this mysterious woman named Lisa, played by Erika Blanc, shows up, and we know that she's the succubus. And she starts killing them off one by one. Each tourist represents a sin, one of the 7 deadly sins: gluttony, envy, sloth, wrath. I don't know even what the hell they all are, and you know what the hell all mean. But nonetheless, they all die, except for this priest who's there named Alvin. And Alvin does not succumb to her charms. And then Alvin ends up running into this guy, Satan, this bald-headed Chilean actor. And the guy says, I'll make a deal with you, devil. Give me back all those souls and take mine instead. And the guy's like, why should I do that? He's like, well, think of all the souls I could save in the future. Devil's like, sounds like a good deal to me. So he agrees. Next thing you know, everybody's alive again. It's the next day, and they're all alive. But the tourist bus... Well, actually, before that happens, we get the reveal from the maid in the house. She said she had an affair with the Baron's brother, and gave birth to a daughter. And that daughter was the firstborn. So that one was actually the succubus. And of course, that is Lisa, the succubus who showed up. So when the Baron killed his newborn daughter at the beginning of the movie, he didn't have to do that. So anyway, the tourist bus leaves, and then they run off a cliff because they almost ran into Satan, who was pulling this buggy. I don't know. But anyway, the tourist bus leaves. Satan smiles at the succubus who's got the priest. And they're all smiling and happy because I think they got all the souls now. That's how our movie ends. Yeah, again, it actually wasn't a bad film. It was it's kind of a cheap gothic horror movie from Belgium, early 70s. It had a fair amount of nudity in it, too. Some quite nice erotic scenes, too. There's a little lesbian stuff going on there. Nothing too risque, but yeah, those are nice-looking actresses who took their clothes off, so power to them. So anyway, that is it for The Devil's Nightmare. I believe it's been released on Blu-ray now. It may have been Arrow who put that out. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'll leave a link down below for that. I'm sure if you're really looking for it, you can also find this Fright Night copy as well, which is probably a lot cheaper, and you get 9 other movies as well. So anyway, check it out. I'm curious if anybody else has seen The Devil's Nightmare besides moi. Let me know what you think about it. Watch it. Bye.